everybody, welcome back to Review of the Nerds. I'm Vincent.
And I am Mike.
And today, we are reviewing Jupiter.
Standing!
Eddie Redmayne sounded a great deal like Voldemort, except on Ritalin. And with Tourette's!
It was that kind of movie.
Yep.
Alright, so yeah, today we're doing the recent release of Jupiter Ascending, starring Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. That was a joke from This Is the End.
This is the latest creation from the Wachowskis. They're best known for delivering The Matrix, a classic and a game changer in action movies at the time, for sure. Then they followed that up with letting everyone down with 2 disappointing sequels.
Before this one, the latest one was Cloud Atlas, which didn't do too well, but still got some, I believe, got some Oscar nominations for its special effects.
They've had a very rocky road, because everyone loves The Matrix. It's awesome. Then the sequels, step down. Then Speed Racer, big step down.
Forgot about Speed Racer.
Yeah. And then a little boost up with Cloud Atlas. I actually kind of like Cloud Atlas. I know it's not perfect, but I thought it was better than their other attempts recently. And then with Cloud Atlas we're about at this point, and then Jupiter Ascending, boom!
This movie is being built up to be like the next big sci-fi action adventure epic, and it was far from epic. It just really didn't work out. I mean,
the studios had high hopes, man. I mean, while they were finishing Cloud Atlas, and they said, we want you guys to create a whole new franchise. And Lana Wachowski, she based it on The Odyssey, a book that she loves, and also on Wizard of Oz, and of course you can see some Cinderella elements in there too.
Yeah, totally.
But you know, the whole journey of the Dorothy-like character coming from Kansas and then going through a magical world and coming out a stronger person at the end, all that fantasy element.
Yeah. The basic plot of the film is that Mila Kunis plays your average Earth girl who her life sucks, and then she finds out that actually there are aliens out there, and a handsome hunk played by Channing Tatum, who's apparently a space werewolf or something like that, tells her that she's actually the genetic reincarnation of a space queen who had ownership over Earth. Only problem is, the Space Queen, even though she is dead, her children are still around, and they all want Earth for themselves, so they all come at Mila Kunis in various different ways to try to convince her to basically sell the planet to them.
And if anyone's confused who the main bad guy is, I was too.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, all 3 of these siblings are technically bad guys, but all of them have very different motivations.
But they all secretly wanted to bang her, I think. Because there's some weird incest stuff going on there.
Yeah.
One wanted to marry her, and the other one had some kind of, I don't know, like weird repressed anger, rage he wanted to take out by beating her up. And
yeah, I mean, each one of them each one of the siblings has their own different motivations. Like, there's 2 boys and 1 girl. I guess the female.
I actually don't know what her motivation was.
Yeah, her motivation was unclear. Because I don't know either. It's just so weird. Like, I mean, she basically kidnaps Mila Kunis.
Everyone kidnaps Mila Kunis in this movie.
And brings her to her castle and tells her all the information about the universe and how Earth, like, humans didn't come from Earth. They were actually made from genetic stock of their family and implanted on the planet Earth.
And we have part 1 of, like, Channing Tatum coming in his jet shoes to rescue her.
Yeah,
that happens so
weird.
much.
And the thing is, like, I don't even know where the threat is, because also all she's doing is showing Mila Kunis their advanced technology, telling her, Mila Kunis, all about their history, and how they have become immortals, and how Mila Kunis her character can have all these things. By the way, the reason the movie is called Jupiter Ascending is Mila Kunis' character is called Jupiter Jones, because her father was really big into astronomy. In fact, they even show that her father...
They had this huge opening that lasts like 10 minutes just setting up the backstory for the father. It's like, this is not at all relevant for the rest of the movie. Why are we wasting time with this guy?
Yeah, spoiler, a bunch of gangsters break into the parents' apartment when they're still pregnant with Jupiter, and they just come out of nowhere. There's no explanation. They're not even wearing masks to hide their identity. They're these Russian mobsters. They come in.
This is actually so irrelevant, I don't even know if we should even mention it.
Yeah, they just come in, steal shit. Her dad, they're stealing the dad's telescope, and he's like loves so much.
We should skip to it. They shoot him, they kill him. I mean, it's so irrelevant.
That, the only could like Mila Kunis could have like narrated that, like, my father was killed by burglars when I was.
And you keep thinking that it's going to be somehow tied in some way to the grander plot, but not at all. And you find out there's like this underlining subtextual like backstory with Eddie Redmayne's character and his mother, the first version. And you don't really find out what their backstory is to the very last second of the film, and at that point, you don't even care anymore. And the rest of the time, you're like, what's up with this guy? Why the hell does he sound like Voldemort on Ritalin, and why does he have, like, weird bouts of Tourette's where he screeches like a girl?
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
I would rather destroy 1,000 planets than
the Hurricane! It's like, well, why are you screaming suddenly?
Yeah.
What the hell?
He has, like, these random outbursts of anger. Yeah. He just seems power dominant. But once again,
he has mommy issues.
Mommy! It's seriously like that in the movie. It's two extremes with Eddie Redmayne's performance. At one point, he's putting you to sleep. It's like then they're like worried you're going to fall asleep at one point, and they're like, Eddie, screech! We want to make sure the audience is still awake.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, come to die. The boy who lived. Jupiter Jones. Jupiter Jones. I'm gonna take your planet. Bitch.
Once you find out their backstory, there is some motivation for why he's so nuts, but I don't want to spoil what the backstory is exactly, but it's revealed too late. You don't care by the point it's revealed.
Yeah. So anyway, the sister kidnaps Mila Kunis, tells her everything. We're still not sure what her evil plot was, because Channing Tatum storms the castle, takes out the guards, grabs Mila Kunis with some space cops that he's hooked up with, and they take her out. A few scenes later, basically the same thing starts over again. The one brother kidnaps Mila Kunis, takes him to his space fortress, convinces her to marry him because he's from kind of greater good crap, but it's really just an evil plot to kill her.
Yeah, that's
Channing Tatum storms the space fortress, saves her, and they go on, and then it repeats again with Eddie Redmayne's character. It's like the same, like, the movie had like 3 climaxes. I was like so bored about 2/3 through the movie. I was like, like there's one sibling left, I wonder what's going to happen next. It was like insane.
Yeah, it was really repetitive. I mean, the first time with the sister, I knew that wasn't the finale, but I thought for sure the wedding was the finale. The way they built it up so much, I thought maybe they were saving Eddie Redmayne for like a sequel or something. And they have Channing Tatum with a ship that apparently can crash through anything, go through a barrier of these little probes, and then he smashes inside their ship. He comes out with his jet shoes again. And the same thing happens at the Eddie Redmayne sequence. He smashes through a barrier and comes out with his jet shoes again. It's like how they overuse the jet shoes. I thought they were a cool idea.
They're not jet shoes, Michael. They're gravity surfing boots.
Hover shoes, wherever the hell they are. It was a cool concept, but they use it for every action sequence, and it's always their quick way of getting out of anything.
Yeah.
Anytime you need to get out of a situation, just use the shoes.
Yeah. There's actually this one scene where the middle sibling, the one that tries to get Mila Kunis to marry him, he literally locks Channing Tatum's character, whose name is, what was his name? Kane? Was it Kane?
It wasn't important enough for me to remember.
Channing Tatum werewolf. Werewolf Tatum, we'll call him. They put him in an airlock, and of course, the bad guy, he opens the airlock door and he gets shot into space.
This middle brother, we assumed that he was a good guy, because earlier in the movie they kind of set up where he seems like he's kind of displeased with what they're doing, and he even tells Mila Kunis that he was like the mother's heir, kind of in terms of the fact that she wasn't really into this shit anymore and she didn't really want to steal people's life force. And it turns out, no, he's just another one-dimensional bad guy who's just, manipulating everything to get his way. But he, the reveal that he's the villain is he decides to shoot Channing Tatum out into space, out of an airlock. And he decides to put Channing Tatum in this airlock that is filled with all these tubes, and you have no idea what they are. And as he's getting sucked out, very easily is able to kick a few off with them. You're like, what are these things? How are they going to get out of this? Out of nowhere, the things explode open, and there's this liquid that goes over him. It's a liquid fucking spacesuit. It's liquid that forms into a solid spacesuit, even a helmet.
It's like it's like liquid metal or some kind of nanotechnology, maybe. But if they have nanotechnology like that can form a spacesuit, then some of the other technologies in the movie don't make sense. Because if you have nanotechnology at that level, why isn't everything nanoed up? Why can't I just nano a gun out of my sleeve? Why can't I, nano a spaceship? Like, when you have nanotechnology at that level, I expect it to be a higher precedence in how this universe works. But it's not. It's just weird.
Well, my issue with it is mostly it's a cop-out. They have so many issues in this movie where they get into a situation you're like, how are they going to get out of this? And then they find the easiest, most convenient way to get them out of it.
There's so many cliches and tropes in this movie. It's just like, Come on, Wachowskis, you're more creative than this. Come on.
Like, for instance, earlier in the film, the very first huge action sequence where Channing Tatum, using his jet shoes, I'm going to keep calling them jet shoes because it's easier than saying what the hell you just said.
Gravity boots!
His gravity boots, and he's trying to rescue Mila Kunis from all these attacking ships that are trying to shoot them down and stuff, and it's actually a cool sequence. I will give them that. I thought the sequence to the city was pretty cool. If you see it in 3D, it was probably amazing. So that was really cool. That was probably my favorite thing of the whole film. But they destroy, like, freaking 50% of the city, and as they're driving away, Mila Kunis is like, how are they not going to know? How are people not going to know about aliens and everything? He's like, we have a way to fix this. And then suddenly, magically, they fix the entire city skyline.
Apparently there are these aliens that are always on Earth just in case there is an alien revealed to humanity. And they basically have neuralizers from Men in Black, except they only work on short-term memory. So that's why you have every once in a while somebody who claims they saw an alien or they were abducted by an alien, because it only kills short-term memory. So if they have a long-term experience, they will remember shit. As far as the buildings getting fixed, I don't know. It was like in the Matrix. Whenever they have a glitch and they just like gloss over something, it's just like, okay, now it's like this.
Yeah, that's the Matrix. This is the real world.
And somehow the aliens fixed the buildings and put everything back exactly the way it was.
What a cop out!
I know. I was just like, come on.
What an easy way out of that situation.
I remember we were watching the movie like at like an early screening. There was only so many other people in the audience. I turned to Mike and go, "That is lazy writing."
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of lazy writing in this movie, and for how clever they try to be, it's not really that. It's so weird because like the plot is so simple to the point where it's boring, but it's also really convoluted at the same time.
Exactly, because there was like 10 things going on in a 5-minute span. Like one time, one scene seriously takes Mila Kunis to talk to some like banished cop. And like seriously, 2 minutes. Sean Bean, played by Sean Bean. And like seriously, 2 minutes later, we discover that bees have some level of intelligence.
Oh god, dude! I remember that we were watching. I was like, "What the fuck is up with the bees?"
Yeah, the bees start swarming around Jupiter, and she can like manipulate how they're flying with her arms. And he does like, "Oh, bees can recognize royalty because they're always honest." They
what?
Just tell, like she's never encountered bees before. Now,
yeah,
given they're on a farm with like beehives all over the place, there's like hundreds and hundreds of bees, but still, never once was like she got near any bees, and a couple of them were just like.
How the fuck did she not notice that bees would follow her around and hover with her as she walked?
Just because she lives in the city doesn't mean there aren't bees in the city. You don't need to go out to a farm to find bees. They're pretty much all over the place.
Yeah, and of all the creatures to recognize royalty, you chose bees?
Yeah. And it's kind of a crappy animal, because aren't bees like... There's like rumors now for years that bees, like the population of bees worldwide are going extinct. If bees are so knowledgeable and they're straightforward, they know what's what, they're kind of dying.
I mean, and you know, obviously there's a lot of undertones in this movie with fantasy. Okay, so you have Snow White communicating with like, you know, the deer in the forest and the birds and everything. I think there's supposed to be kind of like a fantasy element. But bees, I don't know, it just seemed absolutely ridiculous. And then when she makes the bees attack the one guy, the only thing I could think about was Nicolas Cage going, "Not the bees! Ah! They're my eyes! Yeah, when she made the bees attack that one guy, I just started laughing hysterically.
That's the only thing I know about that movie. Just the bee scene.
That's all I know about it too. I've seen it on YouTube. Remixes too.
Yeah. But bees, bees.
But yeah, that's just an example. You know what? You could sum up this whole review with what the fuck is up with the bees. That's pretty much the whole movie. What the fuck is happening with this movie?
Oh, and just so we can get this out of the way, Jupiter descending? Because I know I'm going to see that in some kind of internet article at some point. It's a cool concept that could have been fleshed out, but it wasn't, because once again, it's simple tropes and cliches and ideas, except for a few ideas. But at the same time, everything's so convoluted because it's like people thought the Matrix was confusing. I remember that first came out. People were like, "Dude, you gotta watch it twice to understand what's going on." Dude, you have to pay so much attention in this one because there's 100 things you gotta like latch on. Like Channing Tatum explains explains what's going on with her in like under a minute, then goes straight to the jet boots that would keep coming up, and then boom the next thing, and then boom the next thing, and then boom the next thing. It's like, wait, give us a breather to, evaluate what's going on for it to settle in. I'm like, okay, Channing Tatum's genetically part wolf.
Bees apparently can recognize royalty.
We have neuralizers. Sean Bean had wings? That's another thing. I don't know, like the space cops have wings or something like that. Some kind of paramilitary trooper deal or something. I don't know. It's like that's the first half hour to 40 minutes of the film. There's this shit going on boom, right and left, up and down. I feel like I was in a Wonkavator that was like losing control or something.
Well, another frustrating thing about those, the movie treats itself like it's smarter than the audience in that there's a sequence later in the movie where it's revealed to Mila Kunis that this whole plot is to take the life force from a populated world, the people, not just from the planet, but from the people, and we're supposed to be like, my God. It's like, that was so obvious. Why didn't Mila Kunis figure that out? I knew it the second that her daughter was explaining it to her.
Yeah, it's the core motivation of all the bad guys. They all own multiple planets in which they had seeded some kind of life form, intelligent life form, human-like, thousands of years ago. And then once that planet reaches its population peak, they do what's called a harvesting. And they literally suck the life out of the entire population of that planet and condense it into some kind of liquid that keeps them youthful. Because all the characters, like the one character, she says she's over 14,000 years old, the sister, and like the mother was 91,000 before she kicked the bucket, supposedly. So that's a cool sci-fi concept, and the fact that all we are is just produce for some kind of alien life form to feast and harvest. That's a cool idea.
Well, yeah, there's cool ideas in the movie. It's just the execution that's bonkers.
And those pits of rejuvenating liquid that keeps people young reminded me a lot of the Lazarus pits that the Batman villain Ra's al Ghul uses. I mean, you can't really fault the movie for that, obviously, because maintaining youth through a rejuvenating, life-giving source has been a part of our civilization throughout history. Going way back, I mean, you have sources in religion, like the Tree of Life, Fountain of Youth. Pretty much every culture has a version. Everyone desires to maintain youth and extend their lifespan, so the idea is very representative of the human condition, obviously. This concept has lent itself to art and storytelling and is often presented as like a moral dilemma in that universal desire can be granted but at the expense of the life of something else. The best example of this is like vampires, but if I were to complain about anything about this at all, I guess it would be just that we've obviously seen this moral battle played out a lot. Also, it's definitely been handled with much better writing and execution than what we have in this movie.
Just to give you another example of some sloppy storytelling in this movie, anytime you have a main character exists in the normal world and they're suddenly exposed to a larger concept of what their world really is, whether there be aliens that's a part of it or it's the Matrix, whatever, there is always a moment where they're like, oh my God, this is what reality really is. And when Mila Kunis first looks at her phone and sees a picture that she took of her roommate being experimented on by aliens that she was made to forget.
Neuralized.
Yeah. She looks at it and her reaction is the most dulled, completely non-reaction I've ever seen. She looks at it and just raises her eyebrow like, huh, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, she was looking at it like, I don't remember that happening at Mardi Gras last year. Like it was like sound like
there's aliens like experimenting on her roommate and she doesn't have a reaction to it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
her roommate or was that somebody she worked for?
I actually don't know.
There's so many like
I got
in the movie. She has a cousin, and the first scene where she's talking to the cousin, we don't know who the hell he is.
I thought he was her boyfriend initially.
At first I thought it was a boyfriend because he's trying to convince her to sell her eggs to get money so he can buy a TV, and
it's like what?
Yeah, like I thought it was. Then like an hour later in the film, he's getting his ass kicked by like the family uncle, and we found no, it's her cousin. It's like, let us know who the characters are. In fact, the scene with the cousin and the selling of her eggs is like, it was really kind of like their family that's poor. Did she really need a reason to like right there? They're poor. I'm gonna sell my eggs, get some money for the family, and yet there's like this added layer of no, the cousin's convincing her so he can buy like a big screen TV. It's like
well, this goes back to what you said, that even though the story is really simple, it's really not that complicated. There's a lot of complicated little things sprinkled throughout the whole thing. Like,
yeah.
I'm confused by the little things. I'm not confused by the big plot. I'm confused by the little things happening within the plot. There's just so many things. Like, you find out that Channing Tatum apparently bit someone's throat out at some point. It's like, what? He bit someone's throat out? Like, wait, well, that seems like a pretty big deal. But they gloss over it so fast, and Sean Bean's like, yeah, I had my wings chopped off. He's like, he had wings? What?
Yeah. And one of my biggest issues with the film, I want to get into this right now, was the romance, which of course, there's a romance between Jupiter and Werewolf Tatum.
There was zero chemistry.
Exactly. The development of their relationship doesn't make sense because, okay, so Channing Tatum comes in, blows her mind, there's a whole universe out there with life forms, saves her a few times, takes her to meet Sean Bean, she learns more about the universe. And so when you go through stuff like that, where someone's revealing to you how the universe really is, and they literally save your life from multiple people trying to kill you, naturally you're going to form a bond, a respect, like a likeness for that person.
Like Terminator.
Like Terminator, yeah. And then
Except that was done much better.
yeah, but at no point does she develop like does she indicate like she's romantically has a romantic interest in Channing Tatum's
Well,
character.
she just bats her eyes at him a few times.
A
but-
little bit, but it's not like. And then out of nowhere, there's this one scene where they're alone together, and she's like, "I always fall for the wrong guys. I guess my compass is broken." Blah 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 blah. And she's just getting closer to Tatum, like trying to get a kiss off of him, and he just pulled back like, "Wait, when were you this interested in the guy?"
Yeah, and then
it just comes out of nowhere.
And then I love it when he's like, "My lady, I have more in common with a wolf than I do with you," and she's like, "Oh, a dog. I have more in common with a dog than I do with you." I love dogs.
Yeah, that little scene from the trailer. That's the scene we're talking about.
Ooh, we gotta get into another thing.
What?
The dialogue in this movie is absolutely atrocious.
Yes.
There is such horrid dialogue in this movie that I was sinking in my chair every time someone opened their mouth. Like, there's that one sequence also where, what's he calling her? You know, she's like, "Call me that again."
Oh yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah, because technically she is technically royalty, even though like she's just a reincarnation. She's technically royalty, so everyone has to refer to her as Your Majesty. And every time he says that, she gets all hot. And, oh, what did you say?
Oh, yeah, say it again. Say it again.
Take me, Wolfman.
And you know,
Take me.
even Channing Tatum is looking at her like, your Majesty? Jesus, you're
Yeah.
really easy in the bedroom, aren't you?
Yeah, she's an easy date.
There's so much terrible dialogue in this movie that I honestly zoned out while people were talking a lot. There's some good actors in this movie. We all know that Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum, and Eddie Redmayne especially, can do
if you haven't
fantastic...
seen Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything,
Yeah.
go see it, because he totally deserves the Oscar nomination that he's received.
So we all know that these actors can be really, really good under the right circumstances.
Undoubtedly.
But in this situation, with the really poor dialogue and writing, and the so-so direction by the Wachowskis, unfortunately, they were not able to overcome those obstacles. Mila Kunis, especially,
Yeah, like her character development throughout the course of the film is bad. Like, I don't, like, you start out feeling a little sympathetic for her because, like, she never got to know her father. She lives in a household with basically her entire family, and she does nothing but go out and clean other people's houses from, like...
it's a lot like Cinderella.
Yeah, from break of dawn to, like, and she, like, that's her whole life. She apparently has no friends. I'm not even sure if she ever went to school. Like, her life really does seem to, like, fucking blow.
But again, it's cliche.
Yeah, but her character never really developed over the course of the film. The only thing that really develops is, like, all of a sudden she's, like, in love with Channing Tatum. And, like, she kind of, like, has a fight with Eddie Redmayne at the end. But still, it's like, I really don't care about this character that much.
You know what's funny to me is that Eddie Redmayne, there's this messed up backstory with him and his mother, the woman that she was apparently in her last life. And he reveals it to her near the end of the movie, and she herself says, "I really just don't give a shit." And I'm thinking, neither do we.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because it doesn't affect her life at all. Knowing what she did to him in their last life together, doesn't it change her at all as a person? It doesn't affect her life because she's not that person anymore.
Because she's a reincarnation, a genetic reincarnation, is how they kind of explain it. But she doesn't have memories from her past life. She doesn't remember being this other person.
So how does this affect or change her as a person?
Yeah. Once again, an interesting concept that wasn't fully developed. Just like so many, there's like really cool ideas and concepts in this film, but none of them were fully developed because there's like a billion other things that you have to like understand. It's like this overly complicated, convoluted,
yet simple
triceratops from piece of shit. Like, crap, I'm all messed up.
There is one actor that manages to rise above all the bullshit, and that's Sean Bean. That guy is another actor. You put him in anything, it doesn't matter. He's always good, and he never is the star of anything except for one season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I mean, both him and Channing Tatum's character they were banished or exiled or like dishonorably discharged.
Well, because he backed up Channing Tatum for tearing out someone's throat, and they both had their wings chopped off.
Yeah.
And this is another.
Yeah, they have wings. They have these like cybernetic wings implanted from whatever like special military unit they're in, and they had their wings cut off. So obvious fallen angel symbolism here.
Yeah. And there's another thing in this.
Redeem themselves.
And there's another thing in this where there are so many double crosses that I can't even keep track of them.
Yeah.
The heroes are double crossing each other, the bad guys are double crossing each other, the bad guys are double crossing the heroes, everyone's double crossing each other. It's like, wait, is this a double cross and is this like a triple double cross?
I think this is a double cross to the third power. I think that'd be more accurate. And there's so much.
It's so hard to keep track of everything.
It is. Seriously, if you blink, you missed an important part. This is like, seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if there's one point in the movie I blinked, and at the end, they kill the bad guy with, like, a banana, and then I'm like, what the fuck does the banana have to do? I missed the banana? What's the banana have to do with this?
You know what, though?
One of those movies, like...
You know what, though? If you blink in this movie, chances are you just fell asleep for a half hour. because it's really boring. There's some really exciting visuals and action, but it's just really boring. It's very slow moving, and you don't really know completely what everyone's motivations are, and you don't really give a shit about Mila Kunis, and you just stop paying attention after a while, and you totally think the second brother is the finale, and yet there's 40 minutes more to go, and the same repetitive action scenes happen over and over and over again, where Mila Kunis is kidnapped, then she's rescued, then she's kidnapped, then she's rescued, and yeah, then you get to the ending, and then you're just like, wait, is this the ending? Are you sure the sister's not going to come back? Okay, it's the ending, we're good, we can leave, we can leave.
Yeah.
I mean, they seriously could have edited out at least 30 minutes. Like, the middle brother with the wedding is just a huge detour from Eddie Redmayne, and it could have been saved for a sequel. Then there's a section where Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis are going through all of the political crap to get her title and royalty reinstated, and it goes on forever. Things easily could have been trimmed down.
This movie initially premiered at Sundance, and it was very selective about the crowd that they let in, and only half the theater was full with people. So there was very little interest in this movie even to start with. And then of those half people, there was people apparently standing up and walking out in the middle of the movie. And there was people at the end of the movie that apparently were very vocal about how much they hated it. And I gotta tell you, our experience seeing this movie, we could not stop laughing at moments that were not meant to be funny.
Yeah.
We were laughing at the most ridiculous stuff. Like you at one point, when you found out that the brother was going to marry her, you were like, ew!
Yeah. You don't ask to marry your reincarnation of your space mom. Come on.
Yeah,
That's just weird. I was like, seriously, and he gives him this like popcorn-shaped diamond ring thing, and it's like, will you marry me to save lives? I'm just like, ew, bro!
And it was funny about that. What was funny about that?
No.
Well, you didn't go that far. You were really loud, and I was like, "Oh shit, we're gonna bother people." But then everyone in the theater burst out laughing. I was like, "Oh, okay, everyone's with us. Everyone's with us. They all agree this is ridiculous."
It's bad. This is weird.
Poor Eddie Redmayne, man.
Yeah.
You have such a high off the theory of everything, and then you have this movie. But fortunately for you, I don't think a lot of people are going to see this movie, so it shouldn't damage your career too much.
Besides, every great actor has a few roles that are stinkers. This is him. Mila Kunis, she's a good actress too. This is going to be one of her stinkers. Everybody's got stinkers, but it doesn't diminish the actor unless they just have a series of stinkers for like years and years.
Well,
but Eddie Redmayne, he's probably set up for several new movies now, and probably got like. People are probably all over him trying to get him into his movies because how well he did the series and everything. He's going to be okay. All these actors, I think, are going to be okay.
Well, Mila Kunis, she's never had a starring hit, really, and this was supposed to be her big first movie, you know, being the headline star of a film, and it didn't do well, so it may not look great for her, but the ones that it's really going to hurt are the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
Wachowskis, dude, I honestly don't even know how they got the budget for this. They had a $176 million budget for this movie. And it's not going to make that back, not by a long shot. And they haven't had a success in years. You know, the 3 Matrix movies, they all did well enough. I mean, the 2, they were just riding off the success of the first one. And Speed Racer was a total bomb. And then Cloud Atlas was a total bomb, which I think is a little unfair because I don't think Cloud Atlas is really that bad. I kind of thought it was okay. That was like a little bit of a boost for them. But then this is going to be a total bomb. I don't even know how they're getting budgets anymore, and you know what? They really shouldn't be allowed to write movies anymore. I'm sorry, guys, you have some really good ideas, but you don't know how to execute them in your writing. And you really need to hire, it's good if they come up with the concepts, right? But then hire a writer to write your concepts.
Yeah. Like we said, there are a lot of good ideas and concepts in this film. And honestly, this is the shining achievement of the film, in a film that has really not a lot. I will say this, and I will argue with anyone who says otherwise. The visuals in this film are beautiful. They're gorgeous. I'm being totally serious. The way the design of the spaceships, the look of the aliens, the other machinery, the look of planets. Like there's this one planet where there's like these giant like orbiting rings. And, you know, we've seen this in sci-fi before, but they look great, the design of them, and it's supposed to, and, like, the way the aliens, and all the spaceships have some kind of, like, moving part to them that are, like, most of them that kind of looks like, moving wings, so they got this animatronic thing going on, and it just looks really great. The visuals and, like, everything, like, the space castles, the space fortresses, like, there's a giant factory on Jupiter in this movie, and it all looks great, and the aliens look good. There are these giant, like, humanoid dragon creatures in it, and they have these, like, androids, and they have an elephant alien, which was kind of weird. I don't know, I don't like him.
Yeah, when he did the little elephant...
yeah, he had really odd mannerisms that it was supposed to be elephant-like, but didn't work. I mean, the special effects makeup on it looked great.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone's going to deny the Wachowskis have a fantastic visual eye.
Yeah.
And, you know, they just need someone else to write their scripts, and also they need to stop focusing so much damn attention into the visual details and put a little bit more into their acting. Because there's one thing you can say about most of their movies. Most of the acting in their movies is wooden. Even in the first Matrix movie, no matter how much people love that movie, the acting was a little dull.
Yeah.
Though Cloud Atlas, I thought they started to fix that. Cloud Atlas has some really colorful performances in it. I mean, Tom Hanks, that's the thing, they use the same actors over and over again in that movie, and all of them play totally different people. I thought they did a great job, but they didn't bring that class to this movie acting-wise. I felt like they were very lazy. They just gave the actors the scripts, and they're like, okay, you guys know what you're doing, go ahead and do it.
So much potential. It just felt like, it felt as if the Wachowskis came to the movie studio with 3 scripts for a 3-part movie franchise. And we're like, hey guys, we have this, it's really great, we think this could be the next big franchise for the studio. And the studio was like, we really just, I don't know, we just want one movie. And they took the 3 scripts and smushed them into one script. That's what it feels like. It feels like this movie was supposed to be 3 and they just smashed it into one.
Well, each sibling feels like a movie in itself. Like
each sibling, like, you really could, like, do each one and still have them have appearances in the other films and, like, just have, but I don't know. Like I said, I think that that's what it felt like.
The movie is 2 hours and, like, 5 minutes, but it feels like 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, if we weren't going to do a review, if we didn't do this show, I probably would have, like, left in the middle of the film. And I have rarely, there's only one other time where I've walked down the middle of a movie. I've watched bad movies before, and I usually watch them to the end. And this would have been the second time I would have ever done that.
Now, see, I would have stayed. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I drank before I saw the movie. I'll admit, I went to the movie with a few beers in me. I felt like after I read the Sundance situation, I was like, okay, maybe this is a movie you have to be a little intoxicated to enjoy. And hey, it helped for the first half, and then the second half I started to fall asleep because it was really boring. The Wachowskis, they're really ambitious. You really have to respect their visual palette and what they can bring conceptually to a movie. But they really got to up their game if they're going to make it in this business any longer. That you can't have this many failures in a row. They're huge budget films and expect to keep getting studios to invest in you. So they got to step it up next time, if they get it next time. I hope they do, because I think that they have potential. They just don't write the next movie. Direct someone else's script. Let's see what happens when you guys put all of your attention into the direction instead of the writing, and maybe we'll have a great movie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them one more chance after this movie. One more chance, because they won me back a little bit with Cloud Atlas. They won me back a little bit, and then this movie brought me back. I'm still hanging on enough where I'll give them another chance.
Yeah. I will say this, I mean, recent years we've had many movies try to be the next great sci-fi epic. Like Interstellar came out this past year, and that had mixed reviews to it. I mean, I know a lot of people who loved it. I know just many people who didn't like it. And this was definitely going to try to be the next one great big space odyssey adventure. And really, like I said, there's a lot of interesting ideas, concepts. And I just hope everything that was good in this film, as like I said, there's a lot of good things in it, but none of them are fully developed or fleshed out. Especially, like, well, once again, the visuals. Oh my god, I could keep going. But I just hope if this movie does, in the long run, do positive good, it motivates people to take these great ideas and concepts and show, like, you know, they could be good, but pushed out the wrong way. I mean, pushed out the right way. I want the goods in this movie to motivate people to be like, okay, that sucked, but I bet it could be good if we did this with it. Like, I want it to motivate people in the proper manner, because I just think it could have been great. It could have been so good, because there's so many cool things in the movie to use, but they decided to condense it in this one
But see,
film.
there's more problems than just condensing. I mean, there's a lot of fucking problems. As a matter of fact, if anything, I would say that filmmakers should look at this movie as what not to do.
I know, I'm just trying to find a silver lining in it for the...
The silver lining is that it looked great, and there were some good concepts. For me, that's it. The execution, everything else was off. And, you know, it looks like most people agree. I mean, critics bash the hell out of this movie, and the box office is not doing as well as they hoped.
SpongeBob is whooping the shit out of it.
And, you know, they're expecting this to become a new franchise. I can tell you this, there's not going to be a Jupiter Ascending Part 2.
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne returns.
Yeah. Alright, well, Mike, you got everything out you need to say?
Yes, I believe I did, Vincent. Unless the people out there would like to listen to this soothing voice to put you gently to sleep.
Yeah!
I was a little ready that time. Alright, everybody, that's all I got to say, too. So, we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click like. If you didn't like it, go ahead, click dislike. But leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know why you didn't like it. Tell us what you're thinking. And if you really loved it, do us a favor. Click share and spread the nerd word. So until next time, I'm Vincent.
And I am Mike.
See you again.